Hello everybody, Super Yapper 3D here, I'll yap you listen, and today is the beautiful beginning of our brand new Yap series. Yes, this is not clickbait, I in fact just talking to a microphone, for however long I want, and that is it, I'm being chased already. So our topic of the day is going to be Forsaken. Wow, it's like I'm playing the game right now, and that's the only thing I can think of. Regardless, we move nonetheless. Good lord, that man just got raw dogged. So what are my current thoughts on Forsaken right now, the game that I make content on? I think it's pretty fun. It has its flaws, but overall, the main thing keeping me around is just the gameplay. Well, gameplay is fire, and I'm a gameplay above anything else kind of guy. If it's got good gameplay, I'm gonna play it non-stop. I mean, look at Fortnite. Even though the game doesn't have like the best looks, or the best people, or the best community, the gameplay is just too good, in my opinion at least. I really like playing Fortnite. So this is a good example for me. Another good example was Squid 2, Ultra Kill, whatever. Actually, no, those are terrible examples because all those games have amazing things about them. But regardless, we move. What the hell? Anyway, there are some issues that I have with the game though. Mainly the community. The community is a interesting bunch. I can definitely say that much. It's it's really exhausting dealing with the drama after drama after drama, and just ugh, like just oh the game's gonna get canceled. Oh you're not gonna get these skins because you did something bad. I don't, bro. Can't we just like play the game? I don't really care about all of these upcoming skins or dramas going on. I just want content, bro. Just like release the new survivor, release the new killer. Let me have fun with them. And not only, well, yes, being arguably, well, content and pretty good content, it feels like the update was just bloated massively with just skins. And I really feel that in that new skin video I'm making. Good lord, it is taking forever and ever and ever to edit. I'm not even halfway through, bro. Broken heart emoji. We are so fried. But nonetheless, you guys asked for it, and I'm giving it to you. But just know it's going to be the very last skin video I make because I cannot tolerate editing those anymore. As I was saying, the community, very interesting bunch. Sometimes they are just unreasonably toxic. Other times they can be very understanding. And then you just have people just like shipping a dad and his adopted son together. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? This is not a Gooner game. It's literally just dudes in here, and yet you're still jacking your shit to it. No offense to gay people, though. They're chill. Oh, yeah, and if you're enjoying the video right now, like and subscribe. Pretty please with a cherry on top and sprinkles. Although I do love playing this game, sometimes the community of said game just can be quite annoying to deal with, but we manage regardless. No matter what, we gotta keep that motion, just like tapping the Lost in Paradise emote. That's what we gotta do. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the balance of the game. I don't like people who constantly complain about balance, and no one does really. You can just be trying to play the game, and then you just have some random guy in the chat going, wow, yeah, this guy sucks. This guy is doo-doo butt. He's overpowered. He's unfair. And it is just very irritating. However, I will admit, some people have started having really good points recently, mainly about the killer 1x. 1x1 is very overpowered as of right now. Don't count out my opinion. I am a 17, like halfway there to 18 days player. I try hard this game. I play it a lot. I know what I'm talking about. And I played this game for as much as I want to, however much I'm feeling that day. Maybe I played a lot, maybe I played a little, but that's not the point. The point is, this guy is fine, actually. Wrong guy. But imagine if he was 1x. 1x has too many options. It is way too strong right now. He has a button that gives him a speed 1 boost for 5 seconds. He also has low commitment projectiles that can deal 38 damage, the entanglement hit with an M1, and 43 damage, which is just the mass infection hit, very consistently. And these projectiles have very low cooldowns and are very low commitment. It's not very risky to throw them out. You can just throw them out all willy-nilly, miss or hit, and then keep going with the chase, because there's no end lag. There's no All you do is just throw the projectile and then watch it do something. All you do. You don't even have to predict well, because 1x1's projectiles are kind of hard to avoid. Really depends on the player, but if they have half decent predictions, it's just guaranteed damage all around. And it can be very frustrating to fight against sometimes. And their M1s are also ridiculously strong too. Even though they are slow and nowhere near as good as Jason's M1s, they're still very, very good and shouldn't be counted out. Although they are slow, they have that stacking damage effect. And that glitch cannot be underestimated, because you can die in 3 hits if the 1x1 knows what they're doing. Not only that, all of his moves inflict glitched. And they're very low commitment and very low cooldown now. So what does that mean? That means that he could probably hit a mass infection on you up close, and it doesn't have to be the up close hit. He just hits the projectile close to you, and then, because of the lack of end lag, he can get in an M1 immediately. So that turns from 43 damage to 80. Who thought this was okay? Why does he have no M lag? It makes no sense. I get the projectile buffs were to compensate for 1x1's no longer ridiculously overpowered last man standing, but it's not like that last man standing wasn't like his one redeeming factor or anything. No. This last man standing was a game winner. There was nothing you could do once he popped his goons, because either the goons couldn't get free chip damage for him, or, even worse, the speed 3 would take effect. Yes, he could very consistently get speed 3 for those that are not in the know, which somehow. It basically made him impossible to deal with in last man standing, because he was constantly faster than you, and it'd be basically impossible to try and juke, because, well, he's faster than you. He doesn't need to try and read your movement or anything complicated. All he has to do is just to land the M1s, and he can get it again and again and again and again. He can just keep speed 1. Or, oh wait, no, it was speed 3. Whatever. He can just keep the speed 3 for however long he wants, with no risk and no downsides, guaranteed. And it got nerfed to only be speed 1. But it's still speed 1 for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is an entire stamina bar, mind you. That is an entire stamina bar of you being significantly faster than the survivor. Keyword survivors. There's nothing he can really do to outrun 1x1. So his last man standing is still ridiculously strong. And not only that, now he just has even stronger projectiles, making it even easier to get to said last man standing. This in no way was a balance change. This was a buff. A massive buff at that. Because it no longer made it so that 1x had to commit to anything. Now, he can just do whatever he wants and gets away. And I hate that. It makes him extremely frustrating to play against. And what used to be a great counter character, Shedletsky, making that last man standing making that last man standing an actual test of skill rather than just a super bad disadvantage for the survivor, now is just a permanent loss unless the 1x1 is terrible. Like, he can just throw out these projectiles all willy-nilly and there's nothing I can do. Maybe I can dodge, maybe I can leave, but at the end of the day, he's still gonna be able to stick with me. I can't really outrun him, which is really annoying. No matter how well I manage my stamina, he can still throw out a projectile to try and catch up, or he just catches up anyway. But at the end of the day, 1x1, even though there are other characters that can cancel out looping, the way he does it is just ridiculously unfair and very unfun to go against. He always has an option. Although he requires skill, it doesn't matter how much skill you need, because at the end of the day, he just has the most options. It's kind of like Fox in Melee, in the way that he is the best because he simply has options that other characters don't. And that can be really frustrating to fight against sometimes, because, well, you can't really do much. Your actions are always controlled by something else, and that is just not fun. And look at that, 38 health gone for free. That's a chicken that I have to pop. Was there much I could do about that? Maybe I could have juked it, but at the end of the day, 38 damage is still 38 damage. That is ridiculous mileage for just one of those. Besides 1x, I would say the game is in a fantastic and balanced and sync state right now. It is pretty fun to fight against every other killer. Noli, John Doe, Jason, I love fighting against all of them because they all feel very, very balanced. And Jason is like the ultimate test of skill in my eyes. Ooh, that's a yikes. And he doesn't chase.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Even though Cool Kid is kind of oppressive sometimes, he does have a lot of options that other killers don't. I would say he's still relatively balanced at the end of the day, because it's pretty hard to manage stamina with him, since he has to stop and go quite a bit. I would say he's quite balanced. And John Doe, Jason, Noli, they're all at this exact same level. And the survivors are quite balanced as well, might I add. There's nothing really wrong with any of the survivors, I'd say. Two time is really annoying though. I'll just leave it at that. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to keep talking about it. Two time is just very annoying to deal with, mainly because of the fact that he can just get a second life and really fuck up your game sometimes. Especially if they're really good at backstabbing. The issue is that backstabs are also incredibly janky. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes they won't. Why is this guy talking about Kevin and Big 25? The unemployment slang trend is already over, bruh. It is quite absurd that Two Time can just self-heal and invalidate any progress you got on kill as a killer, and the second life really doesn't really help with that. It just adds on to the problem. But I feel like if they simply nerf the stun duration a little bit and make him heal less, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. It is really easy to get his second life though as well, so maybe make it harder to get. I'm not sure. Besides that, every single survivor is quite good. Except 007. This guy sucks balls. I still remember that Elliot reworking though. Oh my lord. That was like the worst nerf I've ever seen in my life. Why would they nerf him that hard? And for what reason? They just made him useless pretty much. He lagged. Why are you looking at me like that? Man, why are you looking at me like that? You saw that lag flag. What was I supposed to do? What? Do I just predict his lag? Do I just, like, read into the... Oh! Moving on, back to my yap session. Every single survivor I'd say in this game is very, very balanced and very fun to fight against. And even though people have a problem with Guest, I would say Guest is perfectly fine. Because Guest is just potential man. That's his whole thing. He is potential man incarnate. Never was, never is, always if. If he can land those blocks, if he can get those charges, is to have value. If he can get value out of those charges, then he is one of the best characters in the game. But if he can't, then he's butt cheeks. And there's no problem with that. I quite like his design. And overall, Forsaken is good. Anyway, I must wrap it up now. It is getting late, and I have nothing else to yap about. Goodbye, viewers. Take care.